Hello and welcome. I'm your host and speaker, Rosemary, and I'm a senior developer at Infometry. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. In today's webinar, I will be talking about Jira REST API and how it helps us to improve the productivity. Feel free to drop questions on the topic or share your struggles and experience during this live session. We will answer your queries through chat. Let's start the session. This session is organized by Infometry. We are a pure play data analytics company based out of Fremont, California, with our offshore development center in Bangalore, India. We came into inception back in 2010, and since then we have been offering domain-specific analytics solutions for high-tech, energy, life science, retail, manufacturing, and finance customers. Being a data analytics software service and solution provider, we focus on delivering predictive and prescriptive analytics solutions, cloud data warehouse implementation, data governance, enterprise service bus, microservice-based integration solutions, big data, cloud DevOps, Salesforce CRM, and product engineering, etc. Infometry has been an engineering and consulting service partner for companies like Snowflake, Google Cloud, Informatica, MuleSoft, Databricks, Quitran, AWS, Tableau, Adaptive Insights, Microsoft Azure, and Metleon, etc. Moreover, Infometry has developed 22 plus Informatica cloud connectors and Snowflake native apps with pre-built connectivity to NetSuite, Salesforce, and Marketo, enabling the real-time analytics across Snowflake, Google BigQuery, Amazon Redshift, Databricks, and Azure Synapse. One mentioned under the blue blocks are developed and owned by us, and the rest are all developed by us only for organizations like Informatica, SAP Calendar, etc. We have developed state-of-the-art analytics solution, Infofiscus, which can be hooked to any on-prem or cloud CRM ERP or planning apps. Infofiscus is 100% cloud-based pre-built analytics software developed using open architecture. Infofiscus comes in 3 different flavors: finance, supply chain, and sales and marketing analytics. We are delighted to announce the launch of next generation Infofiscus Snowflake native application featuring pre-built connectivity to NetSuite, Salesforce, Marketo, and more. These applications enable seamless integration and real-time analytics. That's our quick introduction, and now let's move to our today's agenda. Mastering Jira API calls and enhancing productivity. In this session, we will understand what an API is, why we use API, some common API operations, and finally, we will see a demo using Postman. The main goal is to understand how APIs help us automate work, save time, and reduce manual effort. Let me quickly explain the agenda for today. First, I will explain what a REST API is. Then we will see the authentication methods used in Jira. After that, I will explain some common Jira API calls. Finally, I will show the demo in Postman and share a few best practices. What is a REST API or representational state transfer? REST API is a way for applications to communicate with each other. It allows one system to send a request and receive a response from another system. Let me explain this with a simple real-life example. Think of a REST API like ordering food in a restaurant. You are sitting at your table. You do not go into the kitchen. You give your order to the waiter. The waiter takes the order to the kitchen and brings food back to you. On this example, you are the client. The kitchen is the server, which is Jira. The waiter is REST API. In the same way, we send request to the Jira API and Jira send back a response with the required data. REST API uses simple methods like get, post, put, and delete. Data is exchanged in JSON format, which is easy for machines to understand. Jira provides REST APIs so that we can access and manage Jira data without using the user interface. Why we use Jira REST API? We use Jira REST API mainly to automate repetitive tasks. Using the API, we can automatically create issues, update issues, and fetch issue details. Imagine you have to update 100 Jira tickets manually. It will take a lot of time and effort. Using the Jira API is like using Excel formulas instead of calculating everything manually. It saves time, reduces errors, and improves the product. Automation helps us focus on more important works while repeated tasks are handled automatically by the system. It is also helpful in the case of when we integrate Jira with third-party applications. Authentication methods in Jira API. Jira API requires authentication for security reasons. This ensures that only authorized users can access Jira data. The most recommended method is API token authentication. We generate an API token from Atlassian and use it along with our email ID to authenticate. Auth authorization is more secure and mostly used for application integration. Basic authentication using username and password is not recommended because it is not secure. Let me explain this with a simple example. Authentication is like entering an office building. You need an ID card to enter. Here, API token acts as our ID card. Using username and password is like sharing your house key. It is not safe. That is why API tokens are safer and recommended. Common Jira API calls. First one is fetching issue. Get request is used to fetch data from Jira. For example, we use get to retrieve issue details using the issue key. Get is like checking your bank balance. You are only viewing the information. You are not changing anything. Next one is creating an issue. Post request is used to create a new issue in Jira. We send issue details such as project name, summary, and issue type in JSON format. Post is like placing a new order on Amazon. You submit the details and a new order is created. In the same way, a new Jira issue is created using post. Next is updating an issue. Put request is used to update an existing Jira issue. For example, we can change the status, priority, and assign a name. Put is like editing your delivery address after placing the order. The order is already exist. You are only updating the information. The last one is deleting an issue. Delete request is used to remove an issue from Jira. This should be used very carefully. Delete is like cancelling an order. Once deleted, it cannot be easily recovered. Let me show you a demo using Postman. In this demo, I will generate an API token. Then we will fetch an issue. After that, we will create a new issue and also we will update an existing issue. we can see how Jira issue can be created and managed using both the Jira user interface and Jira REST API through POST. This will help us to understand how UA action and API actions worked on the same Jira data. Before using Postman, we first need to generate an API token. This token is required for secure authentication while calling Jira REST APIs. We need to go to Atlassian account and need to open that security settings. Let me take you to my Atlassian account. This is the Atlassian security page where we manage API tokens. API tokens are more secure than passwords and are recommended for API access. Here we click on that create API token. We give a simple name to this token. Here I'm naming as Postman demo. So we know it is used only for this demo purpose. We also set an expiry date for better security. After that, clicking on that create button, the API token will be generated then. Yeah, generated that API token. This token will be shown only once. So we must copy and store and save. So I'm copying that. This token will be used for the authentication in Postman later. So we should never share this API token publicly. Look on that done. You can see that API token created here with the name which we provided. Now that API token is ready, so we will move to that Jira user interface. This is that Jira user interface. Here first I'm creating a sample issue that is directly from this Jira user interface. This represents that manual way of working with Jira. So let's click on create. Then we can select that issue type as task. It's already selected here. And we can add some summary for this issue. Here I'm giving that sample issue created from here. And click on create. The issue got created. You can see that the issue has created successfully. Please note that issue key, here it is API file. That is our issue key. Now we will fetch this same issue using Postman, using that Jira REST API code. Now we switch to Postman to fetch the issue using API. This is our Postman. Here we need to create a new request. Click on this plus sign. We create a new request here. So go to that authorization tab and select that basic auth. Here we enter that Jira email ID as the username and that API token as the password. Jira uses basic authentication with email ID and API token. Here we use get request to fetch issue details from Jira. Here you can see that methods are listed here. From this one, we will select that get method. And next we need to provide that Jira issue API URL. We created that API file from that UI. So here we need to provide that API URL. This is the API URL for our issue. Just now we created using that Jira UI. So clicking on that send button. We can see the details such as key, that is API file. This is the issue key we created via Jira user interface. If you search for summary, you can see the summary. This is the same text which we provided while creating that issue. All this data is returned in a JSON format. This is the same issue that we created from that Jira UI. So also in this API code, we are fetching the details of a specific Jira issue, that is API file. And by default, Jira returns a lot of information in this API response. Like many informations are there, some are unwanted. So to keep this response simple and easy to understand, we are using field parameters in the API code. So the field parameters allow us to request only the data that we really. In this example, we can apply some field parameters. How to apply that field parameter is just add one question mark here, and then we can use field equal to summary, status, priority, assignment, etc. This make that API response cleaner, easier to read, and more efficient. Just click on the set button. You can see that here we requested summary, we requested status, then that assign information also we requested, priority also. So in this, in real-time applications, fetching only required fields improve performance and reduce unnecessary data transfer. Next, let's create a new issue. Now I will create a new issue using Postman without using Jira UI. So let's move to Postman again. Here we need to create a new request. This is our new request. We need to go to that authorization. Then we need to select this here. That authorization information is already present here. Here we need to select that method as post. Then we need to give that Jira API URL to create that issue. This is the URL which we need to provide for issue creation. And in the body session, we need to provide some details such as project summary and issue type. Clicking on this body tab and select row JSON. Here I'm providing that field information. This is our payload. Clicking on that send. Here the issue has been created successfully, and that JSON response returned that new issue key here. Here you can see that API 6. So let's switch back to our Jira UI and we can verify whether it is visible there or not. Here you can see that issue 6, API 6 was created, issue created using post. This API created issues exactly same as the issue created using UI. This shows how we create the issue using API. Next, we will see how to update an existing issue. I'm switching back to Postman to update that issue using API. So I'm creating a new request. Going to that authorization tab, selecting policy O. Authorization information is already there. So I need to provide that URL here. So now I'm trying to update the summary of that issue which we created initially using that UI. So for updating, we need to select method as put. Put is used to update the existing data. So in the body, I need to provide the information which we need to update. So I'm trying to update the summary field. Clicking on send button. I will now switch to Jira UI to verify that update. As you see, the issue summary has been updated in Jira UI as well. This confirms that API updates are reflected immediately in the UI. This shows how we can update that Jira issues using API. Next, we will try to delete one existing issue. Let's switch back to Postman. Let's go to my request. Here we will select that method as delete. Now I will delete the first issue that we created from the UI, that is API 5. And I selected that method as delete here. And bring that API URL. When I send that request, that issue has been deleted successfully. I will now switch back to that Jira UI to confirm that deletion. I'll just refresh. Here you can see that issue is not visible here. That issue is no longer visible. So this confirms that the issue has been deleted successfully via wait. Now let me share some best practices while using the Jira API. Always use API token instead of password for security. Avoid sending too many API requests because it may cause rate limit issues. Always handle errors properly so that we know when something fails. Use webhooks for real-time updates when it requires. And finally, always refer to the official Jira API documentation. This brings us to the end of the session. We learned about Jira REST API, authentication, common API calls, and so a demo using Postman, and verified everything in Jira email. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I'm now happy to answer your questions.
Thank you so much, Rose, for this amazing presentation on Jira REST API. I would like everyone to please raise your hands if anyone has any questions. Yep.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, hi. You can ask.
Hi, Rosemary. I'm Balaji here.
Hi. Yeah.
I have a question. So
Hmm.
how Jira APIs can help to reduce the manual effort in business process?
Yeah. It can help in that business process. That Jira API allows business tasks to be automated, like creating, updating, or tracking issues without that manual interest. So this saves time and reduce our human errors and allows our team to focus on higher value tasks instead of doing that repetitive tasks. So in that way, it will reduce that manual effort.
Okay. Yeah, got it. Thanks for the information.
So,
Hello, Rosemary. Am I audible?
they are audible.
So I have a question. This is Puna. I have a question like, can API created issues be added in UI?
Yeah, yes. They behave the same like in the UA, like that you in the UA and API both are behave the same, so we can edit that. We can edit that in UA.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Got it.
Hey, Rosemary, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is Veena here, and I have a question for you. So, what approach we should take if Jira returns too much data, or if the API returns too much data to us?
So like in that case, we can use that pagination techniques. Like we can use that pagination split large data into smaller parts and making that API calls faster.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. Hey, hi, Rosemary. Hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. Hey, hi, Rosemary. So I have a question.
Yeah.
So how do APIs prevent too many requests at once?
Like that we can prevent using rate limiting techniques. Like it controls how many requests can be made in like how many requests we can made in a particular time, so that system doesn't get overloaded.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Hi, Rosemary. This is Saravana here.
Hi.
So I have a question regarding this Jira API. So why are Jira APIs better suited for automation compared to manual updates in the UI?
Why? Because Jira API allows programmers to update issues automatically without any manual clicks. So this saves time and reduce that mistakes and makes repeated task more easier.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep. Anyone else who has any questions, please raise your hands so I can unmute yourselves. Okay, I don't think so. Yep. Thank you, Rosemary, for the webinar, and thank you everyone for joining. I hope you guys found the session insightful. Yep, that's it for the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.